Hi guys, today we're going to be talking about how you can correct the colours and white balance in your photos really easily using a colour checker. And I'm going to start right now. What is up guys, Photo Fever here and welcome back to the channel. And if it's your first time here guys and you want to learn all about Photoshop, Lightroom and everything photography related, start now by subscribing and hitting the bell so you guys don't miss anything. So the problem with photography is color. Getting the consistent colors is incredibly difficult. Every single camera, every single lens and every single light creates slightly different colors. So how do you get any sort of consistency when it comes to different brands or different lenses? Well, this is where you go ahead and use a color checker. Now this is a really handy and streamlined way of actually creating consistent colors, especially if you're shooting in different lighting conditions or you own two different types of lenses. I've even noticed between two Sigma lenses, the colors can sometimes be different. So this is a really handy way of getting consistent colors, especially if you're shooting maybe a wedding where consistency is key. So today I'm going to be talking about how to actually use this in practice, but also how to use it in Photoshop. Now the Spydercheckr 48 is called the Spydercheckr 48 because you guessed it, there are 48 colors and they're broken into bars all the way from A to H. And they all play a very important role. So H is all of the neutral tones, G is all of the saturated tones, F is all of the primary and secondary colours. So we've got cyan, magenta, yellow, red, green and blue. Now D and E are both grey tones. So we've got 100% white, then we've got 20, 40, 60, 80% and then 100% black. C is all of our skin tones. B are all of our brights and darks, and then A, which is to be honest the most important one, has got all of our HSL colours. So we've got red, yellow, green, and then we've got aquas, blues, and magentas. Now what's special about the colour checker is we've also got a grey card enabled as well. So all you need to do is simply lift up the bar here, and then on the other side, you can actually change the graph. So if we go ahead and turn that over, you can see we've got a very large grey card here, again, situated with our 0 to 100% greys. And it's incredibly handy to use because you can flip either side as they are both reversible. So the first thing you need to do is bring this along to one of your shoots. Either the first or the last photo is key. So all you'll need to do is firstly just simply open up the Spydercheckr and then just simply take a photo in nice and clear and in focus. Once you've done that, you can simply put it away and go ahead and start shooting. Now, as you can see, these are some of the sample shots I took with this Spydercheckr, and this is what we're going to be editing later on. So as you can see, all I took was one photo, and then the rest of the photos you can see in the timeline, I didn't necessarily need it, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna match all the colors to the first photo, and then we're going to create a preset. Now you can either do it this way round or go ahead and take all of your photos and then simply use the Spydercheckr on your last photo, as long as one of the photos in your timeline is actually using the color checker. But apart from that, all we need to do now is go ahead and jump onto Photoshop and create a preset. Right guys, so once you're on your computer, all you need to do is go ahead and open Photoshop. Now obviously I have shot RAW in this particular case, so I'm going to be opening it up firstly in the Camera Raw filter, and that's where I'm going to be creating my preset. So as you can see on my screen, I have two photos. The first photo you can see here is with the color checker. And then the last photo you can see here is one of my favorite photos of the shoot, which we're going to be using to edit this photo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and double click on these two photos here. And as you can see, these are the raw photos. Now on the right hand side here, you can see I shot it at a temperature Kelvin number of 7000 with a -10 tint. And as you can see, if we go ahead and zoom in, you can see the colors are way off. You can see the skin tones are incredibly yellow and they're also slightly green as well. So what we can do is we can fix this instantly by using the color checker. So what we're going to do is we're just going to zoom down to the color checker and we're going to zoom in so it fills up roughly the size of the screen. And as you can see, in this particular case, it's nice and clear and in focus. So what we want to do first is we want to go ahead and correct the white balance, and then we're going to go ahead and fix the individual colors. So what we can do is we're going to use number E2. So we're going to be using this square here to correct the white balance. So the way we can do this is by hovering over the eyedropper tool found next to the white balance icon, clicking, and we're going to go ahead and just sample one of the colors here, and we're going to be sampling E2 in this particular case. So we're going to go ahead and just click in the center. And what this will do is it will correct the white balance, but it won't necessarily correct all of the colors. So what we can do is just unclick that and we can zoom out and we can see it already is drastically different. And all we did was simply just use one button. As you can see, we're almost about 90% of the way there. But there are just a few colors that I want to tweak, and we can actually see these colors represented in the color checker. Now the color checker, the most important line is A and F. A is our HSL sliders. So we've got red, orange, green, aqua, blue, and magenta. And then F are our primary and secondary colors. So we've got cyan, we've got magenta, and we've got yellow. And then we've also got red, green, and blue. So what we can do is work out what these colors should look like in person. Now, there is a way of doing this using the Spydercheckr software, but I do much prefer doing it manually because I'm finding getting the best result that's my favorite way of doing it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and open up the HSL slider. So we're going to turn that basic slider off, and then we're going to go down to what it says color mixer, and we're going to go ahead and open it up like so. And as you can see, we've got HSL selected, and these are our sliders. So we've got the hue, we've got the saturation, and we've also got the luminance. Now I find that the red is a little bit too magenta-y. So what I can do is actually select the red and slightly warm it up a bit. So I'm going to select the exact red slider here. I'm going to go ahead and drag it over to the right slightly. And as you can see, it's making it a little bit more orange, or it's making it a little bit more magenta. So we can try and match up to the red that you want. So I think somewhere around here works. Lovely. Then I'm going to do it to the green here. So as you can see, if we zoom in, it's looking a little bit yellowy in the greens. So we can actually fix that by going to the greens here, and I'm going to go ahead and drag that over to the right. And that makes the greens a little bit more punchy. Now I find the blues are a little bit dark, so what I can do is actually go to the blue section, and I'm just going to make them slightly brighter, but not by too much. Lovely. Then what I can do is go up to the left-hand side, and we're going to go to the A slider here. So this is our hue saturation. And as you can see, the blue and the aqua are very similar now. So what we can do is make the aquas a little bit more aqua by going to the slider here and adding a little bit more green in. So we're going to go ahead and do that like so. Lovely. So as you can see, we've done that just using the color checker. So what I can do is now show you the before and after of this photo with the color checker. So I'm going to go ahead and click it like so. And as you can see, it is drastically different. If you go ahead and zoom into the model's face, you can see that the colors are a lot more consistent with what you would have got straight out of camera if you shot it at the correct white balance. And on the left-hand side is obviously the before, which as you can see is now incredibly yellow. You might not have noticed it straight away, but now definitely comparing it to the actual finished result, you can see it is drastically different. But how do you get all of the tones that we have just changed and actually add it to your proper photo? Because you can see, we go to this photo, it's still looking very yellow. Do we have to do all of what we've done again? Well, no, we don't. So what we can do is go to our first image. If we go ahead and do Control Copy, or you can go up to Edit Copy, and then we're going to go to our second photo here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn that off. I can go ahead and press Command V. And what that will do is it will copy all of those settings and it will paste it onto the new photo. The other way of doing it is by creating a preset. So you can go to the first photo here. You can go to your preset sections found on the right hand side. It looks like two little circle icons. You can right click and then go ahead and create preset. And then you can name it anything of your choice, as long as you've got the basic sliders and everything else turned on. Once you've done that, all you'll need to do is press OK. So I'm just going to call this test like so. I'm going to go ahead and click enter. As you can see, I've now got test appeared, and all I need to do is simply click on test. And as you can see, all of those photos are now corrected to the color checker from just a single photo. So as you can see, the Spydercheckr is incredibly helpful for creating consistent colors. It's also incredibly quick as well. It would have taken me ages to correct the white balance and also the colors in the photo and then create a preset, where this is pretty much an absolute quick guide to creating perfect colors. Now obviously they do come in a variety of different sizes. This is by far one of the larger ones, which I actually prefer. Again, having a nice large canvas here allows you to be very, very precise on where you select. If you're having a slightly smaller one, it might be more difficult to do. So I prefer a larger color checker, which is why I've chosen the Spydercheckr over other checkers on the market. But to be honest, there are so many out there. To be honest, all of them are really, really good. I personally like this one simply because it comes in a nice hard case, which protects all of the colors. Obviously, you're after consistency. And if it gets damaged in your bag, then the colors aren't necessarily going to be consistent. So having a nice hard case one is incredibly helpful. Now, this is also great for photos, but it's also great for video as well. So for instance, I actually use this particular color checker for all of my videos. I actually use this as a preset, and then I color grade all of my log photos when I film for all of my YouTube. So this is an incredibly handy tool to have if you're using it either for video or for photos. Again, guys, if you want to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, it really, really does help my channel grow. Also, guys, if you want to hit the bell notification so you guys don't miss any of my latest content. Now, if you want to learn more about in-depth Photoshop tutorials, I've got a playlist just up here. Or if you're in a little bit of a rush, I've got my 2-minute tutorials playlist just down here. But until next time, guys, keep creating.